The second positive childhood experience in the home is feeling safe. It is important that children feel safe in their home. This is not something that we can promise or guarantee as parents. You know that we don't have control over the world and of our kids' safety. And also, it is something that we can provide them a sense of, even if we can't control the environment. A sense of safety can come from just being together in a scary situation, or them knowing that you are there, you're close by, you're going to respond when they're scared. It also can come from communicating what's the plan and what's in place. If this scary thing that you are worried about, say they're saying, I'm afraid that this is going to happen, we want to not just dismiss that fear and say, well, that'll never happen. We want to say, here's the plan if that were to happen, and here's what's in place to keep that from happening. If a child is afraid of a break in their home, per se, we can say, well, that's why we have locks on the doors. That's why our home has bars on the windows. That's why we have a big dog outside. We have all these things in place to keep that from happening. And if that were to happen, we would protect you. Our job as parents is to protect you. We want to make sure that kids feel like it is not their job to come up with a plan or to come up with a way to protect themselves. We want them to feel like they can trust the adults in their home to protect them in an unsafe situation. We also want to validate that it makes sense that that thing might make them feel afraid. This kind of connects to our first positive childhood experience of feeling heard. When children are mocked or made fun of or not taken seriously when they express a fear, that keeps them from expressing it and feeling heard, but it also keeps them from trusting that if that, whatever it is they think is going to happen, were to happen, that they're not going to get the help and support that they need. A really simple and kind of silly example of this is a child being scared of monsters under their bed. Obviously, we know there's no monsters under their bed, but we can say, if I thought there was a monster under my bed, that would feel really scary to me too. So let's make sure that there's not a monster under your bed. Let's check under the bed before we go to bed. And you know what? Mommy and daddy are always right in this room over here, and we are going to make sure that there are no monsters under your bed. And that's a way to communicate. We are taking care of this. We're taking care of you, and we're validating that that would feel scary if that were true, and it's not true. So we're not going to stress about it. We're not going to worry about it. When kids don't feel safe in their home, it leads to a heightened alert system. It leads to a heightened sense of I have to be on high alert all the time to make sure that I am safe. That heightened alert system leads to a lot of anxiety, to even physical health issues, all sorts of things when they feel like I am responsible for keeping myself safe as a child. So, this feeling of felt safety in the home is a really important one that we want to put into place again by validating their emotions while not saying you should be scared of that, but saying it makes sense that you would be scared. And let's give you the comfort and encouragement and support so that you know that you are protected. Also, that concept of what's the plan and what's in place. If they bring something to you that they're afraid of, what's the plan if that were to happen, and what is in place to keep that from happening? And those things are going to help kids feel more safe in their homes. Another thing that's important to talk about in the area of physical safety in the home is making sure that kids feel safe in the company of their family members. Sometimes there's situations where siblings harm one another, and we want to be really clear that in our home, it is important that everyone feels safe. We want to make sure that there are boundaries in place, that there are expectations in place, that it is not okay for siblings to hurt one another. That can create a fear environment, even if it's just intimidation. It's also important that this isn't happening between the parents and the children. Sometimes family environments are such that even if there's no physical harm done to the children, they are talked to or talked or disciplined in a way that makes them feel like they're going to be physically hurt. That environment creates that lack of felt safety. And so we want to, again, be careful that how we're communicating, how we're talking, how we're having siblings interact with each other, how we're allowing things to run in our household is an environment where children are not afraid for their physical safety.